Next, meet Jess, a woman with 5 different identities.
I'm really worried that you'll meet some people in my head that'll come forward and talk to you.
All living in the same body.
I've got Jamie, Jake and Ollie all around, so it's busy.
When I first heard about Jess, I really didn't know what to think. Here was a young woman who was said to have 5 distinct identities. 5 different people, all in the same body, and 4 of them were male. What's more, any one of them could appear at any time, even when she and her husband were at their most intimate. Naturally, I wondered, how could all this happen? How could it possibly work? Then I was invited to spend a week with Jess and her extended family.
Oh my gosh! Do I just hang on?
This interview brought with it a few unique challenges.
Do I just clap? That's brilliant.
Thank you, Jess. Lovely to meet you.
Lovely to meet you too.
I was expecting to meet Jess, but not quite sure who would actually be in the chair across from me.
Did you have to get approval from everybody to talk to me?
Kind of, yeah. Just to do this entire thing, it is very much about everyone's comfortability factor.
The everyone that Jess is referring to are the 4 other identities that live inside her. She calls them alters, and they are all male. Jess has Dissociative Identity Disorder, or DID. There's Jamie, a 27-year-old country doctor.
So Jamie's the only one with prescription lenses. Jamie has a very upper-class British accent.
Just heading home now to finish one of our essays.
Jamie's very intelligent. He's very charming.
Ollie, a 14-year-old boy who has been inside of Jess since he was 7.
He's a bit of a moody teenager.
I have strong opinions for a 10-year-old.
He wanted to grow up and be a dinosaur.
Ed, a 29-year-old punk rock hairdresser.
Ed is very artsy. He's very creative.
I think I'm a bit of a dark horse. I think that's what a lot of people describe me as.
And he does all of this left-handed, so the rest of us are right-handed.
And Jake, a 25-year-old Californian pop star.
Jake is about 5'6", and he's quite slim and lean and muscular.
Blah, I keep tripping over my words. I think I'm just too excited.
He's got this brilliant Hollywood white smile, and he's very good looking.
And although Jamie, Jake, Ollie and Ed all see themselves as individuals, they all exist inside Jess.
I think I describe myself as quite girly. I quite love my pink, and I love my makeup, and I adore my pets too.
How do you manage your day so that everybody has their own time and their own space?
There is a structure. It would be that one of us, whoever it may be, is up in the morning. Generally, it's Jake that likes to take the dog out for a walk and go out for a bit of a run in the morning. And then it may be Ed that'll be out a little bit to make lunch boxes and to set everything out for the week. And then I'll go into work 9 to 5. Allowing them to have their own space and their own time is incredibly beneficial to our overall mental health.
Of course, living in the one body means they all look the same to you and I. But venture into their inner world, and this is how they see themselves. These are the actual images they use to depict their appearance and personalities.
Your alters are male. Jess is female.
Mm-hmm.
You have a female body.
Mm-hmm.
Are there ever times when your alters are uncomfortable with that?
Yeah, so Jake is very self-conscious of the fact that he doesn't appear male to the outside world. Jamie is, I think, just as that carer's role, he's very good at taking care of me. Jamie's very good at that. And it's very much, I think he's quite detached from the body, really, as is Ed and as is Ollie. I think they don't really feel that this body belongs to them.
Jess developed her male identities as a way to protect herself after a traumatic event as a child, something she won't go into detail about.
Is it unusual for all of your alters to be male?
I think it having males around all day, every day in my brain really helped me desensitize myself to being afraid of men. I thought, if I was a boy, what happened to me wouldn't have happened.
Despite her disorder, Jess lives a normal life in Wales, working full-time and studying at university, and happily married for a year now to Gaz.
Thank you. Have a good one. And I'll see you later on. Bye.
What first attracted you to her?
I mean, the typical thing was her looks. I thought, this is one of the most beautiful women I have ever seen in my life. But after I started to get to know her, she had the most beautiful personality. Personalities.
Well, he asked me to be his girlfriend 3 times before I accepted. I was so frightened of him seeing that side of me. But he was insistent, and eventually, when I explained, look, the reason why I keep saying no is because of this, and I'm really worried that you'll meet some people in my head that'll come forward and talk to you.
And she explained to me she had people living inside of her head, and she could have conversations with them. And I just looked at her and went, that's fine, that's awesome. That's really, really cool. And it was just sort of one of those expanding things. It just made her more unique and much more of an interesting person.
Here we are nearly 10 years later, and it still seems to be okay.
I don't think you were, that you just distracted now.
It's a hard concept to understand, but I went in open-minded and keen to learn more about this strange condition.
What do you say to the doubters?
You need to actually meet someone who has the condition to really understand it properly.
Not only does Jess have a loving husband, she also has a strong, supportive circle of friends who accept her and her identities.
Sam, who did you meet first?
So I think I met Jamie first. I just sort of like slotted in.
Became a part of the
Just
life.
became a part of the life, yeah.
My friends, they were great. They'd already met all these people in my head. They'd never had a problem with any of them.
Jess and her identities operate like a family. They all have relationships with one another and exist in what they call their inner world. Jake and Jamie are brothers. Jamie and Ed are partners. And Ollie is Jamie and Ed's son. Like most families, it's complex.
It's not as scary as people make it out to be, and it's not about, you know, the axe-wielding murderer around the corner.
Jess and her identities often find themselves misunderstood,
Never seen a case like this before.
misrepresented,
23 identities live in Kevin's body.
portrayed in Hollywood as something to be afraid of, something dangerous.
Someone's coming for you.
Who's coming?
The beast.
Nobody's going to hurt you. Alters are very, very unlikely to harm you. And as with any mental health condition, the likelihood is that people with mental health issues are more likely to be victims than perpetrators.
But for years, it also confused and terrified her.
I'd end up in places that I didn't know where I was, and I didn't know how I ended up there. And I remember one day I was like in a dress with the highest of heels on. I had blisters all over my feet. It was raining, and I had no idea where I was or how I'd gotten there.
Jess struggled to be believed and to get the help and diagnosis she needed. Until she met Dr. Remy Akoroni, a psychotherapist who specialises in DID.
The condition is, you could say it's the most primitive, fundamental survival system, which nearly always applies to overwhelming experiences for children growing up, usually from a very early age. Those extreme situations where you are powerless, when you are in extreme life-threatening situations, which the brain, in a sense, can't deal with.
Meeting Remy was honestly the biggest relief I've ever had in my life. And when he basically said, you know, yes, you without a doubt have DID, and this is what you've been suffering with, hopefully that means I'll be taken seriously from now on. And people will start to recognize that this isn't just something made up, this isn't just something on television, this is something in real life that I have to suffer with daily.
With Remy's help, Jess learned to manage her identities and create a healthy, functioning family.
She had an awareness of different alters inside. She was having to negotiate with them because it's a bit like a family. If you ignore them, if you've got a family and you keep ignoring your children, they will eventually start making life difficult for you.
Keen to meet the members of Jess's unique family, the next morning, Jamie invites me over.
Hello.
Hi.
I'm Jamie. Nice to meet you.
I'm Mel. Nice to meet you.
Come on in.
Thank you.
It's striking how very different Jamie is to Jess.
Come on, Fable. In you come.
His accent,
Gaz was telling me that you were devastatingly handsome.
I am devilishly handsome. The best, actually.
his mannerisms.
So, yeah.
Describe yourself to me physically.
About 5'10", blonde hair, green eyes, a bit of a Prince Charming type, I think. My role is basically sort of like a caretaker. So I'm also like the number 2 next to Jess. Like, I sort of make the decisions, make the choices, and I just look after us.
The youngster in Jess's inner world is Ollie.
I like, I don't know, I like video games and I like YouTube people.
He's a teenager.
Oh, I like taking my bike out at the moment.
But this boy is living inside the body of a grown woman.
And what do you see when you look in the mirror?
I see Jess, but I don't know. Like, if I don't look in a mirror, I know it's me, but if I look in a mirror, I see someone else that isn't me.
Can you paint me a picture of your inside world?
Yeah. We live in this really nice big house. I go to a private school, and yeah, it's just really nice.
Now, Jess and her alters, for the most part, operate like a well-oiled machine. But that doesn't mean that sharing her life and body with 4 other men isn't challenging. Who has control? Who makes decisions? Who has memories of things that have happened and who doesn't? They are all present to varying degrees, and Jess has a simple way to explain it.
Yeah, so I always say DID is very much like driving a car. Imagine your car is the body, and whoever's in the driver's seat is driving the body, right? Co-consciousness is where there is more than one of you in the car. I can either be driving and be taking control of it. I could be in the passenger seat and sort of have an idea of what's going on. Or I could be in the back seats where I have much less control and much less idea of what's going on. Or I can be in the boot where I have like no memory at all of what's happened or what's gone on.
Are there signals? Can you feel that one of your alters is maybe coming forward?
You get that ping of something's not quite you. It can be even the fact that maybe if Ed's around, I realise I'm using my left hand a lot more. Or it could be, if Jamie's around, my eyesight's starting to go a little bit blurry. Or it can be even cravings for foods that I don't really like, and that means to me, oh, well, somebody else must like that, and I don't know, maybe I don't know who it is, or maybe I do. But those are sort of the clues that I look out for.
Coming up,
How are you feeling right now?
a new identity starts to emerge on camera.
I've got Jamie, Jake, and Ollie all around, so it's busy.
And a delicate question about the marriage.
Moments of intimacy.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any control over who is with Gaz?
In most ways, Jess is a normal, happy young woman. She's a newlywed, has a job she loves, and is studying at university. But Jess has Dissociative Identity Disorder, or DID, which means she shares her life with 4 other people, her alters, all male identities that live inside her.
I've absolutely have full faith that I've been speaking to Jess this whole time.
Yes.
Have I?
Yes. Yes, yeah, so there's been Jake around very close at times, but yeah, still been me.
Jess started to display some of the signs of a switch during our interview.
How are you feeling right now?
Yeah, a little dry in the mouth, but fine, fine. Very, very foggy-headed, like there's a lot of buzzing around, a lot of talking. So I guess it's been quite hard to not concentrate as such, but to make sure I'm saying the right things. So because I know that I've got Jamie, Jake and Ollie all around, so it's busy.
Who's the closest?
Oh gosh. At the moment, I couldn't tell you. It's just like chatter, so I couldn't tell you at the moment.
Would anyone else like to talk to me today?
Yeah, I just, yeah. So, see, I know I'm doing it now, so I'm not making much eye contact. My eyes are to the floor. I'm sort of, and I'm sort of, I tend to rub, I know I've got makeup on, so I'm not trying to rub my eyes, but one of my things I do, I tend to rub over my eyes when I'm switchy. So, yeah, I know that there's, yeah, there is whoever that's around now. That's fine.
Jess leaves the room to have a moment to herself. The privacy she needs to allow whoever wants to meet me next the chance to come through.
Hi.
Hi.
The American accent tells me Jake is here.
How are you doing?
Okay, just...
It's startling how different Jake is to the woman who was sitting down just minutes before.
I got there. Okay.
Not only the accent,
In the corner, I didn't see you there.
but body language, mannerisms,
That's my day done.
everything about Jake is Jake.
So introduce me to Jake.
Oh gosh, I guess I'd start with the fact that I'm really happy-go-lucky. I'm definitely more of an optimist. I try and have a good time no matter what we do.
What does Jake do?
In a world, I am a Hollywood actor actually, and I'm also a singer, just general teen idol.
The best way to see how Jake imagines himself is on his social media.
Describe yourself to me physically.
I'm not particularly tall. I am a pocket of fun, I guess. I'm 5'6", and I have olivey colored skin, always in the sun, tan kind of look. I have bright white teeth and bright blue eyes and brown fluffy hair that's kind of always spiky at the front.
I'm not quite sure how to word this, but you've described yourself to me, and the person I see is quite different. What do you see when you look in the mirror? Do you only see Jake?
When I look down and I concentrate, I know that I can see the wedding rings and stuff that certainly aren't worn by me, and that it's almost like a reality check. It's if I don't think about it, I see me.
Jess has a friendly relationship with her male alters, Jamie, Jake and Ollie. But the one who has always caused her anxiety is Ed. He is the only one I haven't been allowed to meet yet.
Has Ed ever tried to hurt you?
Yeah, sometimes I come back and I would have self-harm scar marks, maybe my arms, wrists, legs, thighs, mainly on the thighs. And I said, I just started, I guess, to put two and two together. And yeah, I think that was the start of things not being very well.
It was only after days of getting to know Jess and her alters that Ed was ready to meet me.
Just a little tabby.
Once again, I had to introduce myself.
Well, Ed, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Mel.
What's your relationship like with Jess?
My relationship with Jess is a bit of a rocky one, but we've been working on living harmoniously and getting there. And I like to think that we're doing all right.
What makes it difficult? What makes it rocky?
We've just got different ways of... We don't really see eye to eye, but we're trying to at least be humble and at least be on the same wavelength.
When Ed is in control, is there ever that fear that he has the potential to harm you?
Yeah, particularly when I was younger, it was very frightening. It's taken me years to get to a point where I understand how to manage him now. And it actually wasn't until my diagnostician said to me, you need to stop calling Ed a bad alter. He's not a bad alter. He's just misunderstood.
So unsettling.
No one should be locked out. Everyone has to be negotiated with, because if you try and lock anyone out, ultimately it'll backfire.
That was probably the best advice I'd ever been given in terms of how to manage and how to look at my alters.
I really don't like this.
For the sake of family harmony, Jess has found a way to keep both herself and her 4 male alters happy.
You don't have to like each other, but you do have to respect that each part of you is there for a reason.
But it's navigating her real-life relationship with husband Gaz that brings unique challenges.
How does that sit with you, that you've married a woman and the alters are males?
It actually it sits quite well. I am bisexual myself, so that incident in itself doesn't bother me in the slightest. I'm in a relationship with Jess. She is my wife. I do have a lovely romantic relationship with Ed as well.
I've never asked anyone this before, whether it's on camera or off. Moments of intimacy.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any control over who is with Gaz?
Actually, intimacy is a big trigger of mine. So it means that I want to be as far away as possible from it. And it's something that I'm still working on. And I have had therapy for that side of things, and it's something that I'm improving with. But it has been up to Ed, as his role also, to be intimate with my partner.
But given Jess can switch at any moment, it can get awkward.
If I notice that she's switching, when we are being intimate in any manner, then everything gets stopped and pulled back, because I don't know if Jake's going to come out, I don't know if Ollie's going to come out, so everything gets pulled back. But it works out quite nicely. I've had 9 years of it, so...
It's not like you.
I know.
In Jess's tiny Welsh village, she also has the support of a close circle of friends who seem to get along with all of her inner personalities. Tonight, they're out with Jamie.
Who are you closest to?
Oh, I feel like I'm insulting people. I think this is awful because Ed's a bitch. Me and Ed have the most in common.
So he's my favourite as well, don't worry.
Yeah. Yeah. Ed, I gotta be honest, because he's so to the point.
Jamie, can I ask you, how important is your group of friends?
Exceptionally important. I think it's quite an isolating disorder. I think a lot of people like us are used to pretending to be one person to satisfy everyone in life, everyone they meet. Thanks to our friends, really, we're in a much better place now than I think we ever would have envisioned.
Cheers to that.
Yes. Cheers. Cheers, everyone. Empty glass. Cheers.
This is really nice, I like this. I really like this.
Today, Jess and her alters have found a way to share their lives and keep the peace.
So unsettling. Oh my God, the view though. Oh, that's gorgeous. Ow.
I'm just being accepting of whatever happens, happens, and I'm hoping for the best and that we can work together and live together harmoniously.
Oh my God, that's really quick.
With Gaz by their side, they have a bright future ahead of them.
Nice one again. Ready?
Do you feel very loved?
Oh, massively. I've got 5 people loving me at once, and it's the most beautiful thing.
Guys, pose to me. I love it.
Just nice, actually, having 5 people come out that respect you as a person and actually love you, and that is the most beautiful thing.
No wonder you married him.
I know, he's amazing.
Together, they can face whatever challenges life throws at them.
Love you.
I love you too.
All 6 of them.
I think I'll keep you.
And if you want to know more about Jess and her alters, they have their own YouTube channel. The details are on our website and Facebook page.